Hi guys, so for today's first impression I'm trying out the Makeup Revolution Ultra Contour palette, and if you watch my channel you'll know that I purchased this quite a few months ago in one of my hauls, and since then I haven't looked at this, I haven't swatched it, I haven't actually done anything with this, so I'm actually really excited to do a first impression on it now. As you guys know, I do use the Barry M Chisel Cheeks Contour Kit, and I do have a full review, and I also have a how-to on my contouring which I'll link down below for you. And I saw this and I was like, I have to go and buy this because it has loads of different shades in it. It has 3 different bronzer shades, and it also has a yellow banana shade, and then it also has 2 sort of peachy pinky shades, and then 2 highlighter ones. And I thought this would be a great thing, especially for when I do other people's makeup as well. And also it looks like it's going to suit every single skin tone, so it looks pretty amazing to me. I bought this for £8 from the Makeup Revolution website. I think this is a great deal because you do get 8 different shades in it, and my Barry M Chisel Cheeks Contour Kit did cost me about £8, and you do only get 3 different shades in there. I do love it, but I think this is really good because it does have loads of different shades that you can choose from. So when you open up the palette, this is what it looks like. It just pretty much looks like a standard Makeup Revolution palette, and it's really shiny and black, and you can tell that it's the contour palette because on the back it says Ultra Contour. And if you open it up, you do get a giant mirror on it, which is incredible, so you don't need to have another mirror for when you do your contour. And also you get the 8 different shades in here, so you have the 2 pinks here, you have the 3 bronzer shades, you also have the banana shade and the 2 highlighters here, so they are pretty shimmery. So with this palette I'm going to contour and also highlight. I have already put on my blush because I looked at this and I didn't actually see any shades that looked very good for blush, and the blush that I used is the Makeup Gallery blush in the shade Candy Floss. This is a gorgeous pink shade. It doesn't have any shimmer in it, so we'll be able to see if the highlighters actually do give you a really nice shimmer and if it stays on for a long time as well. So first thing I'm going to do is contour, and the shade that I'm going to use is this one right here, and this one looks like it's the only brown cool toned shade, and these two look like they're warm tones. These two look like they'll be great for if you're bronzing up, but I'm going to use this one for my contour. So for this I'm going to use my Zoeva 109 Luxe Face Paint brush. This is one that I always use for contouring, and I'm just going to pop it in the palette right there, and it does look a little bit powdery, but we'll see how it goes on and see if it looks good. So I'm going to do my cheekbones first. This pigmentation is actually incredible. That's not even a lot of product, that's only literally a tiny bit of product, which is incredible. I'm going to take this a little bit higher up as well. So I did think it looked really powdery at first, but it's just really highly pigmented, which is incredible. Literally, you only need the slightest dust. That's literally a tiny bit of the product, and that is incredible. I am so impressed with this already, so I'm just going to go a little bit higher again. So I'm also going to add some product on the top of my head as well and just work it down. I'm not using a lot, I'm only using it a little bit. And just putting this right around here. And then I'm going to contour down the sides of my nose as well. So this is what it looks like now that I've added the contour, and I have to say I hardly used any product at all, and this works incredible. Literally the pigmentation is amazing on the contour. I didn't need to use a lot of it at all, and you can strongly see the lines and it just looks really good. It's a really nice cool toned colour. I don't think it's too dark. I mean, I am a little bit self-tanned at the moment, but I don't think it looks too dark at all. So I'm going to see what it looks like after I've buffed it in, and for this I'm using the Jessup Duo Fibre Powder or Blush Brush, and I always use this to buff in all of my contour. So I'm just going to see how this buffs in. Okay, this doesn't seem to be buffing in as well as I thought it would. Okay. Does take a little while to buff in, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, so that seems to be blending in a little bit better when I don't put as much product on. As you can see, it pretty much just blended in straight away. And this one took a little bit of time to do, but it does look like a very strong contour, which I do like. Okay, the only reason why this side looks a little bit darker is actually because I do have dry skin right here and it is quite red, so that's why that side isn't buffing in. But to be honest, I'm not really too bothered. It looks pretty good anyway. I have to say I'm very, very impressed with the contour. It looks really nice and it looks quite natural as well. It does take a little while to buff in if you do put a lot of product on there, but there is a lot of pigmentation in this product, which is pretty easy for you to put too much product on there. You only literally need a tiny, tiny amount, and I just think it looks really good. The next thing I'm going to do is set my under eye concealer. So I'm going to use the banana shade, which is this one in the palette, and I'm going to see how this works. So I'm just going to get my Real Techniques contour brush for this. I'm just going to swirl this around the yellow shade. That is very, very powdery. There's a lot of product in there, as you can see. It's pretty much everywhere. So I'm just going to use this to highlight underneath my eyes. And I have to say, that actually does look like that there's a bit of difference between my eyes. It looks a little bit more set and a little bit more highlighted, which I do like. So I'm impressed with this one. I like this one. This looks pretty good. And I'm just going to do the other eye. I am really liking this. I think that this highlight's really nice. I also think that the contour's really nice as well. So yeah, and then I'm going to be using one of these pink shades. I'm just going to highlight down the bridge of my nose. I'm not sure which one I'm going to do, just going to do swatches. So this is what they look like. So the shimmery one is this one and the non-shimmery one is this one. So this one's matte and this one's shimmery, and they look pretty good, to be honest. They look very, very pale. So I'm going to use the shimmery one actually. I'm going to use this one right here. And I'm just going to highlight down the bridge of my nose. This is nice. It adds a subtle shimmer to it, so it's not overpowering or anything like that. I think this is nice. I like this. Don't know if you can see. And I'm also going to use it just to highlight on my chin and also above my lip. And I have to say, I really, really like the shimmer. It's not overpowering or anything like that. It's a really nice highlight, and I feel like it'd look good on all skin tones. A great thing is, because I'm super, super pale and the highlight shade is pink, this is good for me because it will match my skin, especially when I'm porcelain. So I like this. I don't know. I really like the shimmer. It doesn't look like it's oily or anything like that. It's not too overpowering. It's not like a disco ball or anything like that. But if it is a little bit overpowering, you can just go back in with the pink shade that's matte, which will probably work really well as well. So I'm going to use a little bit of that to see how that works. And it just takes the shimmer down a little bit so it's not too strong. I like this. I actually really like this contour palette. I can't believe it's taken me such a long time to actually use this. But I'm really impressed now that I'm using it. I really like every shade so far that I've used. And the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight my cheekbones. And for that I'm going to use one of these two highlighting shades right here. I'm not sure which one I'm going to use. I think I'm going to swatch them and just see what they look like. So this one looks very, very bronzy. So this would be good if you do have a tan or if you do have dark skin. And this one is very, very light. So this one I think I'd have to use a light hand on if I'm going to use this on my skin. But I think this one would be good if you're trying to get a more natural look. But just for the sake of this video, I'm going to use the very, very shiny highlighter. So I'm going to see how that goes. I am only going to use a little bit because, as you saw on the swatch, it's very, very pigmented. So, and for this I'm using my Jessup tapered highlighter. I love this brush for highlighting, and this is pretty much my favourite one. I love it. And the one that I'm going to use is the pale one. So I'm just going to get a tiny, tiny amount of the product. Literally, that is covered in product, and that was only a tiny bit that I put on. I'm just going to dab it on a little bit, tap off the excess, and then I'm just going to put this on my cheekbones and see how it goes. Okay. I think this is nice. A lot of the product does come off when you're trying to put it on the brush, but I really think it looks like a disco ball, I'm not gonna lie. I haven't used a lot of this product. I don't know if I like this. I think I'm gonna get my duo fine brush and just try and buff this out a little bit, just to see if I can get any of the shimmer off. Okay, this shimmer literally does not want to come off, which is a good thing because it means that it has a lot of staying power, but I think it's quite strong. Yeah, that's really strong highlight. Really strong highlight and a really strong contour. And then I'm going to try, I think, maybe this shade here. I'm going to try this one probably on the other side and just see how it looks. Oh my geez, you need a tiny amount of that one as well. So we'll see. We'll put this on. So this is what the highlighters look like, and on this side I've used the white one and on this side I've used a pinky brown one, and I have to say I can see a very big difference. This side pretty much looks like a disco ball. Just look at that highlight. It looks really nice on camera, but I think in person it looks a bit too OTT for the daytime, but it does look pretty good. Very high pigmentation, and it looks like it's going to last a long time because it literally would not buff out. And then this side I have the brown one, and I have to say I really like this one. This one isn't too overpowering or anything like that. It doesn't have as much shimmer, but I think this looks really nice. I don't know. Which one do you think? So I think I'm going to go back in with my blush because I just think that these lines look pretty harsh, and normally I do my contour, then my blush, then my highlighter. So I'm just going to swirl this around a little bit. So like I said, this blush is a matte blush, so it doesn't have any shimmer in it, so you can still see the look of the highlighter. And I'm just going to put this where I normally would. Just buff it a little bit more into where the cheeks are. I have to say that I absolutely love the look that I've created using this palette, and I love the contour and the highlight. It just looks really nice. The only thing that I don't like about this is that you don't have a colour for a blush. I don't think that's too bad, because if you do want to have a bronzer shade, that's probably pretty good for you, but if I'm super pale, I do want to have a little bit of a blush. I'm not really too bothered about that because I do have a blush that I use anyway that looks really good with my complexion. With the contour, the only thing I don't like is that there's only really one shade that you can use for it, because the other two are pretty warm toned. I'll just do some swatches to show you. So this is what the other two browns look like. They are pretty warm toned. I think this one is a little bit more cool toned than this one, but I think that this one would probably be the only one that you can use for a contour. It's really good. It's really highly pigmented. The only thing is you can only use a little amount, otherwise you can't blend it in, and it is quite hard to blend in, I do have to say. As you can see, it just looks very harsh, and I've tried to blend this in as much as I can and it didn't work as well as I wanted, but for the price it is really pigmented, but you just have to use a really light hand. I didn't know how much to use on it, and I think I've used a little bit too much, so next time I use this I'm going to use a very light hand. And with the banana shade, I have to say I really do like this. It set my under eyes, and also it creates a really nice highlight as well, which I really like, and because it's yellow toned it does get rid of the under eye circles that you don't like. So now onto highlighters, and I really love the highlight that I've created down the bridge of my nose, the top of my lip, and also on my chin. I think this is really nice, and the shade that I used for this was this pink one here. This one is the shimmer one, and this one's a matte one. I used this one, and you don't need a lot of this product, you only need a tiny amount. I also used the matte one just to see if you could tone down all the shimmer, and it works really well. So if you do put too much of the shimmer on, you can use the matte one and it works really well. I do really like these two shades. I wasn't sure if I was going to like these pink shades, but I really like them, and I'm just going to do a swatch for you so you can see one of them's shimmer and one of them's matte, and I just think that these are really nice. And it's good if you don't want to have a highlight that's not a shimmer shade, if you want to have a matte highlighter. This is really good, and also I think these would be great for pale skin as well, because these two pretty much match my skin when I'm porcelain, so these two probably won't show up as much when I don't have any fake tan on, but I think that they'd look really nice, especially the shimmer one. And like I said, you don't need a lot of this. It's really pigmented and the shimmer is incredible. And now on to the last two highlighters, which are these ones right here. So I have to say, I don't really like the white one. I think the white one is very shimmery. It's pretty much like a disco ball. I think it would be okay if you were going out and you just wanted to put loads of highlighter on. I only used a tiny amount of the white one, and it just looks really crazy. Just look. at that highlight. That is incredible. That is just like a disco ball. But if you do like to have really shimmery highlighter, this would be really good for you. I absolutely love this brown highlighter here. This just looks really nice and natural. It doesn't look too OTT. It does have a lot of shimmer. It is still highly pigmented as well, but it doesn't look as strong as the other one. This one is the side with the brown one, and this side is the one with the white one. So you can see there is a lot of shimmer there. So I really like this. I think these look really nice, and I just can't really get enough of this palette. The only thing, like I said, that I don't like is the fact that you've only really got one contour shade, and I don't know if this would suit me when I'm pouring because it is pretty dark, but it does feel really creamy and really buttery. I really just love the consistency of these. The pigmentation is incredible. They blend out really well other than the contour shade, but you've only got to put a little bit of the contour shade on. Also, like I keep mentioning, you have to have a very, very light hand when you're using the shimmer shades. Otherwise it can look very, very shimmery, and also a very light hand if you're using a contour shade. So overall, I am really, really impressed with this contour palette. I can't believe it's taken me so long to actually try it out. I have heard that this is meant to be a dupe for the Anastasia Beverly Hills contour palette, and if you take away these two shades, this literally looks like the Anastasia Beverly Hills contour palette. And I've wanted that for a very, very long time, but I refuse to pay £40 for a contour palette. This one's only £8. You get 2 extra shades in it as well. The pans are quite large as well. Another great thing is that you have a giant mirror in it as well. So if you do want to have contour and you only want to take this with you when you're on holiday, and this is the only thing you want to take with you, you have the giant mirror on here, which you can see all of your face in it. I can literally see all of my face. That's just incredible. I love this, and the packaging is pretty sturdy as well. It's just like the normal Makeup Revolution packaging. I just think that this is incredible, and it's only £8, and if you don't use every single shade, or if you don't like every single shade, you've still got about 6 shades in here, and when you think that that's £1 per shade, that's absolutely incredible, and these feel like that they're going to last a very long time. The shimmer looks very, very long lasting, and because I couldn't even buff out the contour very well, I think this is going to last a very, very long time as well. I'm going to keep using this contour palette, and I'm going to keep you updated to let you know the longevity of it, or if anything's changed, or if I don't like it anymore or anything like that. So make sure that you stay tuned for an updated video on this, and I hope that you enjoyed this video. If there's any more products that you want me to try out for first impression, just comment down below and let me know, and make sure that you give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in my next video, guys. Bye! And everyone's listening to Christmas songs in my house today. It's November and we're listening to Christmas songs. I don't know if you can hear. Very, very loud, and that's downstairs, and I have both of the doors closed.